Well, that was a cold intro. I got to work on that a little bit. Hello. Welcome to the Producer Joe Show. I appreciate you tuning in here. Uh, this is going to be a really fun one. I have the really outstanding singer from San Diego here, Miranda Ramos. She's really electric when she's on stage. She's a really sweet person, and just can't wait to bring her on, and which is what I will do right now. And hello, Miranda.
Hey Joe, how are you?
I'm good. So, just from the outset here, I got to remind everyone that I am not only hosting the show, but I'm also producing the show. So, if my eyes are going all over like this, I apologize. It's not you. I can hear everything you're saying, but I do have buttons to push and technical fun things to do. But needless to say, I'm really happy to have you on here to talk about what's going on in your life right now. How you doing? I know you've been a little under the weather. You feeling better?
I'm getting there. I still sound kind of hoarse, and this has been week 3 of having pneumonia, which really sucks. I mean, I've had it once before in my life, but I can really tell you that I understand how it can be deadly because it's been a really rough 3 weeks. So I'm starting a new round of antibiotics, and hopefully I will get better soon. I took a lot of cough medicine. Hopefully I'm not gonna cough through this whole thing, but I'm on the up and up.
I would say that having something like the pneumonia is probably pretty problematic for somebody in your industry.
Yeah, I mean, it hit at a good time. I only had a few shows that were planned, and then ended up shifting some gears around unexpectedly, and so it all worked out. And I still made a performance this week, just a really short one, so I was able to make it happen. It's amazing how your voice is kind of trained to do what it needs to do as a singer, and sometimes it's muscle memory at some point. So it worked out and I sounded great. I saw video and I was like, wow, I don't even, because I got off stage and I'm like hoarse and I can barely talk, but singing came out great. So who knew?
It's great that you say that because we're our own harshest critic. The fact that you say that lends a lot to your talent level and your skills, I think.
I'm hard on myself
Um,
sometimes, but it's nice listening back and not being like cringing.
right. I got you. Oops. See, I already pushed the wrong button.
No worries.
Um, so anyway, I read up a little bit on your bio. I mean, I know you, but I wanted to get up, into your business a little bit. Your bio mentions you are a country girl raised in the city. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Sure. So I grew up in San Diego and San Diego County, East County specifically, on a pretty big plot of land. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she also rescued animals. And so we grew up with all these like really random country animals that I guess you would have in a farm. But I think even some farms don't have, like, we grew up with a skunk as a pet and a duck as a pet, and like super weird stuff like that. Just anything you can think of that may have needed rescuing in some way, shape, or form, she brought it home. And so I got that kind of hands-on animal experience. I was always outside in the mud, just being dirty, shoeless. And so kind of got that vibe from growing up like that. But also I lived in San Diego, so I got to go to the beach and I got to go to the city and I got to do all the things. And my mom raised me as a country girl. Like, country music was on all the time when she was home, but then when dad would come home from work, it was all rock music. And so I've got this like two sides to me, that are often really fun because I have such a wide variety of like music that I like, and how I like to sing. I can kind of adapt to whatever the situation is, and I feel like I got the best of both worlds.
That's great. No, I like that. And you can definitely tell in your personality that you got the best of both worlds right there. You mentioned San Diego. Can you think of your top 3 favorite places to go in San Diego, be it a restaurant or just a destination?
Oh man. Okay, so restaurant. I love this place called Farmer's Bottega. And it's, I think, in North Park is the technical term for the area of San Diego that it's in, but it is absolutely, it's like a farm to table place. And everything that I've had there is absolutely fantastic. So if you're ever in San Diego, go to Farmer's Bottega if you haven't been. It's amazing. And they have a great brunch too. So you can kind of go any time of day. They have different menus throughout the day. So it's the best food around. Um, I love the safari park. I mean, it's probably one of the things that San Diego is known for. Coronado Beach is my favorite beach here. And I also love mountain biking through Sycamore Canyon. It's right next to my house, and I just take my bike out and forget about life for a while.
That sounds like exercise.
Yeah, it is.
Um, so it's funny you mentioned the safari park. I've lived here my entire life, and I have never been. Just
Oh my gosh, I'm there at least once a month.
wow.
Least. And I have passes, annual passes to the zoo and the wild, or it used to be called the Wild Animal Park, so I still call it the WAP.
Yeah.
But now it's Safari Park. So I'm there all the time. I just go to, I love the animals, and now that I have passes, I don't have to go for very long. And I actually love the food up there. So there's one place that we go to that I think it's called the Mazawi Cafe. They have a great salad. So we go up there for lunch, to start the day and have a great time, and then I'm out of there by the time it gets too hot.
You mentioned Wild Animal Park and you said it's WAP. I don't think we can use that acronym anymore after the last few years.
Probably.
But anyways, sorry, just throwing a little levity in there.
Right.
So what are your hobbies? Or does being a mom and an artist pretty much capitalize all of your time? You did mention you go out in the city, but do you have any hobbies that you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a mom of three. I'm a single mom of three. You know, I'm a soccer mom. I'm a softball mom. So that kind of takes up, and music obviously is a weekend kind of thing. So my weekends are usually really, really busy um, doing all those things. But I mean, I love to hike, like I mentioned, mountain biking. I also shoot a compound bow. So that's
Oh
like
yeah.
a country girl kind of thing in me. And I'm pretty damn good shot with my compound bow. And I love to cook. You and I were talking about that before the show started. I love, love, love to cook.
Yeah.
So, and I learned, I was so sick this last few weeks, I learned about Instacart, and that was great. Paying $30 for someone else to do my grocery shopping and deliver it, I was like, I could get spoiled doing that, because I did it out of necessity because I couldn't go shopping, but it was kind of nice.
I love going to the grocery store, but every now and then I'll do Amazon or something like that. But anyway, sometimes we get to that point where we can't go out and shop for ourselves. That's okay. That's
It
okay.
was
We've
a
earned it.
But I guess at the end of the day, my favorite thing to do is travel. I mean, I'm a very simple person. I don't need a lot of things. I don't buy myself a lot of things. I live a very minimalistic lifestyle. But when it comes to travel, that's when, like, take my money. Like, I'm all about experiences and meeting
Yeah,
people and seeing new things. So that's where, like, I splurge on
I'm
traveling.
with you on that. Yeah, for sure. Um, what are your thoughts in San Diego? What are your thoughts on the music scene in our town?
Oh, well, I mean, I have nothing to compare it to. Realistically, I've lived in San Diego my whole life. Um, but the San Diego music scene, I feel, is really special here. Um, I started my lead singing in a rock and pop band. And I felt like that scene was a little more like competitive. And when I switched over to doing country music, everyone in the country music scene is so welcoming and helpful and wants you to succeed. And it wasn't until recently that I really found, like, what I would call my people here in San Diego, and it's everyone in the Ramona Music Alliance. Those people have just embraced me, taken me in, really believed in me, and given me a confidence that I never had before. And they kind of are the reason that I'm making this shift in my career now, because without them believing in me and kind of opening some doors that I never know could exist for me, I would have never had the confidence to do what I'm doing now.
Sure, I'm glad you are, because you're quite a treasure.
Thanks.
So where did you get the music bug, and about how old were you?
Oh my gosh, I've been singing since I was a little kid. Just in my room, I had like a little band of, my neighbors that would come over and we would write songs and sing them in our room. And I tried out for a talent show when I was like, gosh, it was probably like second grade at my school, and I got kicked out because my song was quote unquote too adult for this for a children's elementary school. So I was like so sad and defeated after that. But then I, grew up doing musical theater throughout, elementary and high school, and so that was my outlet then. And then I kind of gave it up because I grew up pretty poor. My family made a lot of sacrifices so that my mom could be a stay-at-home mom. And so that meant we didn't have a lot of money. And, growing up, I wanted to change that for myself and my kids, my future kids. And so I kind of departed from music and I really focused on school. And I was a straight A student, went to San Diego State, got my CPA license. And so I kind of went the career path and then waited till that was all settled to get back to music.
Got it. Got it. Right on. What instruments are you well versed in?
None really. I picked up. So actually, Joe, you were there the day that I first bought my first guitar, which was last November. So it's been exactly a year that I picked up
Yeah.
my first guitar and said like, hey, I think I want to learn guitar. I want to learn this because being a singer and not knowing an instrument, I felt kind of like a fraud. My band would be talking about what key are we in, or what chord progression, and I had no idea what they were talking about. And so I had this kind of fraud feeling inside me, like I'm not a real musician. And
Ah,
so I've been playing guitar for about a year now, and I can firmly say that it's hard to learn, but I'm a better musician as I learn, and learn timing and learn about notes and how long things are in beats per minute and strumming patterns and all these things that I never knew about. So it's hard, but it's so rewarding when I can actually play something that somewhat sounds like a song. I get like ridiculously excited.
we need to get you on Guitar Hero. That's what we need to get you. That'll be the ultimate practice right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Ashley. Ashley says, awesome to catch this live. Hi,
Yeah.
Ashley. Good
She's
people right there.
my favorite DJ and karaoke buddy.
She's awesome. Um, okay, you're a songwriter. What are your motivations as a songwriter?
So for me, songs, I'm not drawn to just the beat or the melody. That's more of like the composition of the song. For me, songs draw me in based on their lyrics and what they're saying and how if they evoke an emotion or a feeling. And that's what I want to do in my music. I'm really motivated to tell stories, and I'm not very good at expressing my emotions sometimes. I'm often one of those people who buries them inside and then, just lets it fester because I really don't like confrontation in any way. I'm more of an introvert naturally, so being a singer is kind of weird for me. Um,
Hmm.
but I want to make people feel something when I write a song, and I want them to be like, "Wow, I've felt like that before, but I've never been able to say it like that or put it in those words." And so that's really my motivation is to connect with people on a different level and connect to their hearts.
Now, at least currently, you're primarily country music, but as a whole, who are your core influences who've been in your musical world?
For me, it's funny that I grew up on country music, but honestly, when I think about my biggest influence, especially for songwriting, it's actually Billy Joel, which my
Wow.
dad grew up like just blaring in our house all the time. I can sing every Billy Joel song from beginning to end without a second thought. And he told stories. That man and every song sounded different. Sometimes these days, these modern artists, every song sounds the same. And I'm not going
Yeah,
to name names, but their rhythms are the same, or their pitches are the same, or the stories are so superficial.
Red Hot
Um,
Chili Peppers.
but if you don't know Billy Joel's music, every song is different. Every song tells some kind of story, um, and it's raw and real and catchy and fun sometimes. But some of them are dark and some are light and fun. Some are about love. Some are about hate. And he had the full gamut. And so I'm a huge fan of his, and I would love to write songs like he does one day.
It's funny you mention that because I've been a Billy Joel fan my whole life. I have three older sisters, and that's kind of where I first started hearing it. And so I've been a fan of his my whole life. And just this past weekend, I cranked it in the backyard as we were doing yard work. And I really made it a point to listen to the lyrics. And you are right. I made a mental note to say, man, this guy has got some lyrics that really speak to you and make you think. I mean, it's funny
Mhm.
that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and it's like he tells stories even within his songs, like and the change in melodies that he's able to provide. Sometimes, like I mean, if you've heard Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, that song is almost like three songs in one, and it ebbs and it flows and it tells a story, and it's just it's the most incredible song.
I agree. And for so many years I said, man, I thought he should remake We Didn't Start the Fire because there's so many new
Yes.
topics that he could
Have
go
you
off
heard
of. And he didn't do it, but Fallout
Fall Out
Boy
Boy?
did. And it's
Good.
insanely good.
Yeah, I thought that if anyone else did it, I would be like such a critic and hate it. But I'm
No,
such a fan of the way Fall Out Boy did it. I am a little bit like critiquing. I wish they were enunciating a little bit better so I could understand things because they're going really fast
Fallout
and
Boy.
words. But I love it.
Yeah, I loved it. I heard it again the other day, and it just made me so happy because if there was a song that needed to be brought back with an update, that was the one,
And they nailed it.
and they nailed it. I've seen you perform many times, and I keep forgetting to look at that camera and not this laptop. So, hi, Miranda.
Hello.
So, I've seen you perform many times. You bring such an electricity to the stage, and sometimes even on top of the bar tops. You seem to really fire up the crowd. How does somebody with such a small yet mighty frame explode with such power?
Like that's just as big a mystery to me as it is to you because like I said, I'm naturally an introvert. I am so shy and I'm scared of everything. I really struggle with social anxiety big time, and but when I'm on stage it's like a different person comes out. I can't explain it. It's like my love for music and singing outweighs how freaking scary it is. And it really it's me playing off the crowd because when the crowd is getting into it, it's this symbiotic relationship. It's like the more they
Sure.
give to me, the more I can give back. And there's nothing worse than playing to like an empty room. And as a musician, you have those places and those venues and those times where you're sitting there and you're trying to give it your all, but you've only got a handful of people in the venue. But then there's those times where you're playing to like thousands of people and you have them up in your face singing right back to you, and there's just something electric about it I can't explain. And it's so funny because I see pictures or videos of myself up on a bar and singing, and I'm like, who is that? She's way cooler than me. But
Well, knowing you as I know you, I know that you like to make people happy, and when you're up on the stage, you're obviously bringing people happiness, and I think that that's what brings you out. Personally, that's what I see.
yeah, and I think seeing people's reactions, there's a lot of self-doubt that comes into something like this. um Putting yourself out there, you don't know how people are going to react to you. And so when they react the way that most of the people that I've been around have reacted to me singing and giving me that energy, it's just like such a blessing. Honestly, it's surprising and it's fun and it's an honor, really.
I can tell. I can totally tell. Um, you recently had a shift in your career. What is next for Miranda, and do you see anything beyond that? Two-part question.
Woo. Yes, I made a shift, and like I said, it's because I got some confidence working with some Ramona Music Alliance members. And I think I might be getting ahead of myself talking about kind of going from a cover artist to an independent artist, but um, that shift is really important to where I see myself in the future. Um, and what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
What do you see beyond that in your more distant future?
Gosh, the more distant future, I don't know what it holds, but I'm really, really excited about it. And I'm working really hard. And now that I kind of have my career in my own hands, I'm not sharing it. I feel like I have a little bit more control over where it might go.
Yeah.
But I have really awesome friends that know a heck of a lot more about being an independent artist than I do. And they're behind me 100%. And I know they're not going to let me fail, which is giving me the confidence to try something that I probably would have never done before if it wasn't for people being big cheerleaders and wanting to share their knowledge and their expertise and help me succeed.
Is is there any one memory that stands out? Something that may have happened during a show, after a show, is there any one thing that hasn't left your mind that you just kind of go, huh?
Yeah, I think a peak for me was so this last summer I got to play at the Santee Summer Concert Series in Santee, and that's my hometown. And I didn't know what to expect because I was in the league with these other bands that I'm huge fans of and that I would never put myself in the same category with. So to see myself, you know, my name up there, you know, my band's name at the time up there with them was incredible. And then leading up to it, I kept kind of looking at the Facebook invites and seeing like, oh, this other band had like thousands of people that said they were going to attend on Facebook. And then I would look at mine, it was like so low. And I was like, oh my gosh, no one's going to come. And then, oh my gosh, we had Santee said ours was the most attended for the summer. People showed up in spades and supported their hometown girl. And one of my friends actually came in right before we started the show. And I hugged him off to the side of the stage. And he's like, I had to walk from PB to come see you because there is no parking. And, you know, joking, but he said it was just packed. And there were thousands and thousands of people there. And I had, you know, friends from middle school, from high school, that I hadn't seen in decades, literally decades, that showed up to support me. And having a crowd, just a sea of people, was just so cool.
No, that's awesome. You really knocked it out of the park on that one. So I'm gonna say this respectfully. Does making a change like this, going to a solo career at this stage of your life, um, bring fears and or opportunities that may have been surprising to you? Dodging the age issue.
Yeah, right. You know, it is scary because if you look at the mainstream media and music world, they focus on these like, you know, teenagers and young 20s and you know, it's more about the looks than it is about the content sometimes. Um and so it is a little scary, like, you know, thinking about coming out with my own music and it being compared to what's coming out in the mainstream area. And I don't have the kind of money, I don't have the kind of team to be on those big platforms and to get my music, you know, on mainstream radio or anything like that. So it is scary, being older and, you know, being in my 30s and trying to start a music career. And I do have a full-time career and I have my kids. And so it's a lot to juggle, and there's sacrifices that are definitely made to try to make this happen. But at the same time, I think there's an opportunity there because there's things that I can write about in my music now, being through life and experiencing things, that I can connect to listeners that are my age and beyond. Right? Not everyone's 20 years old and can relate to those songs. So I can write to a whole different audience and in a deeper level, I think, because of where I'm at in my life. So there are pluses and minuses, but it is still scary.
You just about touched on my next question. You've told me before that music is a form of therapy. Is that about right for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you that that's truer than ever because I've been so sick. Not being able to sing is like, I can't explain it. Music is like part of me. It's part of my life, and not being able to do it just it's an outlet. I can't explain what being on stage is like and singing. Um, it's just something that I have to do. I don't. It's not what I do. It's who I am. Um, and so, yeah, it's definitely therapy. And if I don't sing, I feel like I'm like I need to get on stage. I need to sing, even if it's just practice, you know. But when your body's sick and your voice is gone and you can't do it, it's enough to make you go crazy.
Right. I got you. Um, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced that you can point to and say that right there is something that I was able to overcome and make me stronger?
Oh my gosh. You know, I think I want to like almost put a pin in that question because the music I'm writing is going to say way more than I can ever articulate in this moment.
Got you. Got
So
you.
my music to come out, and I think you'll know what I've been through and what I've overcome for sure,
Right.
without question.
Through the music.
through the music, and I don't hold anything back. I think I have a confidence in writing music because you can do it kind of in a way where almost like a third person, right? It's not you. You can almost do it like you're talking to someone else, and so you kind of take yourself out of that situation, and so it's a lot easier to sing about it than it is to talk about it. But I've been through some really deep things, and like I said, it's only fueled my ability to write music.
Well, all I can say is if this podcast doesn't go to the plan that you had in your mind, don't go all Taylor Swift on me and write a song about me.
Producer Joe.
Producer Joe and I don't know. Just don't put me in a song.
Oh no,
It's kind of hard to rhyme producer Joe anyway.
No problem.
Anyway, this has been a lot of fun. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
I want to just thank a few people. You know, switching from being a cover band artist to being an independent artist is something that's scary, right? Because I'm not trying to sound like anyone else anymore. I finally got through this hump, I would call it, as an artist, where I'm not trying to sing like X, Y, or Z. I finally just want to sound like myself, and I found what I sound like, what my natural voice is, and I've fallen in love with that. And that's something that was a huge hurdle for me, to get over being like, oh crap, when I hear that song, I don't sound like her. And now being like, hey, cool, I have my own version now, and it sounds like me, and that's cool. So now to be able to take my voice and write my own music, and to be able to sing songs that I've written in my own voice, and not compare myself to anyone, it's empowering, right? And I have to think, I would have never had that confidence. I've been writing what I would call poems for years and years, and I never knew that they were really songs. I wrote them as if like I wanted them to be songs, but I knew that I'm not a music composer. I have no ability to do that yet, which my friend Ashley tell me yet. But then someone saw me sing at an open mic, and his name's Doug Walker. And he came up to me and talked to me afterwards, and he's like, you're just fantastic. I love your voice. Do you write your own stuff? And I said, no, not really. I write poems that I want to be songs one day, but I don't know how to make them songs. And so he said, can you send them to me? And I did. And he said, Miranda, these are fantastic. He's like, you're a songwriter and you have a gift. And he bought me 2 songwriting sessions with Ashley E. Norton, who is a fantastic musician and songwriter out here. And so I'm terrified because I feel like such a fraud, right? I go and I meet with Ashley for these songwriting sessions, and she looks at my work and she just believed in it right away. But I had no melody. I just had words on paper. And she worked with me, and we came up with a melody, and she came up with chords on a guitar. And I left there, 2 hours later with a demo in hand, recorded at her studio. And I called my mom, and I was like bawling. I was like crying. I get emotional even talking about it.
Oh.
Because it's a huge deal. And that gave me the confidence to do this and to realize I'm not just a cover artist. I can be a songwriter.
Sure.
Why do I get emotional?
It's okay, because that's music.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be doing this. And so now I have 2 songs that I perform live in my acoustic duo that are mine. Ashley Norton wrote them with me. The guitarist that I work with, Brian Wilson, he's helped like bring the melodies along, because these things are kind of like babies. They grow and morph as you work on them. And I'm actually waiting on studio time to record them formally and get them on streaming platforms. So it's just so exciting.
That's awesome.
So I want to thank more people though. I wrote it all down. Do I have time for that, Joe?
Absolutely.
Okay. I have notes.
I was just going to say that if anybody needs to reach out for bookings or whatever, all of your mentions are down in there at the bottom. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Oh yeah, because I'm performing it as an acoustic duo now. I have so I have enough content now for 3-hour shows. I work with a guitarist named Brian Wilson, who is so amazing. Him and I have been in bands together in some way, shape, or form for at least the last 4 years. So him and I just jive musically. We have the same music taste. He believes in my music. Oh, we have a question. How many songs, lyrics do you already have written? Oh my gosh, so many. So many. But like I said, I probably have like 20 at this moment, but only 2 that are like recording ready, I would say. The others are still kind of in that poem format. I mean, they're in the format of a song, like the lyrics with the chorus and the bridges and all that set up, but I still need to come up with melodies and chords and stuff like that. So, and some of the best ones are the ones that haven't been worked on yet that I'm really excited for.
There you
So,
go.
but 2 that I'm like ready to get in the studio because I want to, like, I can't wait to be able to see my own stuff on Spotify and get it recorded and you know, on people's playlists, in people's ears, and see what their reactions are to it. Because right now, even though I perform them live, you know, it's limited audiences. So I can't wait for that.
Awesome. So you had some shout outs that you wanted to dole out.
Yes, and I had to write them all down because I don't want to forget anyone. So I want to say that none of this is possible without people believing in you, giving you a chance and enjoying what you do. I wouldn't have any opportunities if people didn't like what I did and people hired me to do it, right? I would have no audience if people didn't love music. So that's the first thing I want to thank people for. My family and my friends have been just the initial supporters, allowing me to do what I do. My kids are my biggest fans. My mom is at every show. Everyone knows her. If you know me, you know my mom because she's there. She's selling my merchandise. She's, you know, taking around the tip jar. She's answering questions for people. So she's like the glue that holds me together so much of the time. She's my rock and
Right.
best friend in the world. People that believed in me from the beginning, like Erica and Dean Velasco from Dino's Pub, Kristen and Tony from B&S Brewing and Distilling, the Carlton Oaks Golf Course, La Mesa Wine Works, Palma Valley Winery, Reds, Whites, and Brews. The people that have had me modeling for them, Ramona Barn Owls, John Hancock, Richard Hobbs, and so many other awesome photographers that have taken my picture over the year and let me use it on my social media or my website to help me. There you go. Those are all by
That's John Hancock's work right there.
Yeah. And so modeling has been a big part of this. And, you know, I've modeled for them and they've given me the pictures, and it's, you know, I wouldn't be able to do that without this cool content. So definitely thank you to them. Everyone in the Ramona Music Alliance, you know who you are. Thank you for believing in me and giving me the confidence to do that and welcoming me into the Ramona family, even though I don't technically live in Ramona. Doug Walker, Ashley Norton, Brian Wilson, who have written and composed music with me. You've done more for me than you'll ever know. You're like family. And I'd like Joe to thank you for having me on today. You and Amy are such good friends of mine, and
you know we love you.
You're giving me this opportunity.
Well, that's great.
And now I understand why those music award people always have so many people to thank, because you can't do this by yourself. It's a team, and I have the best team ever.
No, you got it going on, that's for sure. Didn't you have a question for me?
Yeah. What is? I was asking him before the show started. What is that on my left?
On
your right.
On my right. I didn't want to give it away at the time, but I don't know if you know this, but I'm a little bit of a nerd.
That makes 2 of us. We were sharing gifts earlier.
I'm a Jedi.
Yes.
I got this at Disneyland. Pretty great. You get to go in there and build it all yourself. It's a whole experience. It makes you well up a little bit if you're nerdy enough. But
oh yeah, well,
I would have had that on the whole time, but you can probably hear it buzzing.
I can hear it. I know they make sounds as you move them too, right?
Yeah,
I can't hear it. Yeah, my boyfriend actually went to do that, and I was like because when you pay for that, you get to have one like person that watches while you get to do it. And it's so funny. There's like little kids in there building these and paying attention and following all the instructions. And then there's my boyfriend who's not paying attention, doing what he wants, what he thinks. He falls behind. He ends up breaking it, and then so bad that the guy the instructor ends up just giving him his. He's like, here, just take mine. Like he gave up on my boyfriend building his own. He's like, here, this one's pre-built for you. You obviously can't. So I make so much
What an
fun now.
experience.
Yeah.
Well,
Me.
I guess that's about it. This has been a lot of fun. I was really, really, really looking forward to this, and I'm so glad that you agreed to come on.
This has
Um,
been great. Thank you for giving me a platform to share. I've had with the big change coming up, I've kind of kept the reasoning kind of behind closed doors. But I've had so many people reaching out with questions, and I really kind of haven't been ready to answer them yet. So
it's
just
okay on your time.
yeah, yeah, and there's like a lot of healing that had to happen with making a big scary decision like that. Um,
Sure.
but you know, I went from as the cover artist, I was singing the same 20 songs over and over and over again for 2 years, and I just felt like I wasn't growing, and
Yep.
I wasn't going anywhere with it. As much as I loved doing it, there was this restlessness in me. So while I'm not going to say I wasn't having fun, I was. It's just I needed to find this side of me, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without some people backing me. Oh, thank
Sometimes you
you.
just gotta jump. You just gotta jump and make that move.
And it's still terrifying, but it's cool that I can see things coming along, and the future is bright. And even if it's not, I'm doing what my heart is telling me to do, and it's okay
Mm.
to like put your needs first sometimes. And I think
Yep.
as a mom, that's hard to do. Um, but I needed to pursue this, and I'm doing it in a way that that works for me, and that's okay, right? I don't
Absolutely.
I don't have anything to prove to anyone but myself. And if success comes from it, then more the better. But it is something that I have to do for me.
We've got Phoebe here who has a comment for you. You-
Phoebe. Oh, little
Um,
girl, you're doing amazing. Thank you, Phoebe. She's actually a
and
friend
then
from high school.
That's great. I love it that people are tuning in here. And then we have one more comment here. Can't wait to see a post on Facebook or whatever what you're doing with your two songs. I suppose just keep an eye on your social media and you'll let people know from there. Will be the
I mean,
best
yeah,
bet.
if people want a sneak peek to the two new songs, they are on my Instagram and my Facebook, and they're on my TikTok. They're on my YouTube. So go find them. The first one is a love song called Whole, and it's about those last few moments in bed with your loved one before you start the day and before you have to kind of be someone else. You have to be that worker, you have to be that mom, or whatever it is that your day holds. But you don't want those last few minutes, laying on that person's chest to end, because you have to be someone else. You have things to do and mouths to feed, and so that's what that song's about. It's a love song.
Wow,
And then
that's deep. I never even thought about that.
yeah, I mean, one of the lyrics of that song is weight of the world off its nightly shelf. And
Hmm.
so I feel like that a lot, that I have the weight of the world on me all the time, and that I have to get things done, and I have so much. But at night, it's like I can take it and I can put it over here, and I don't have
Yeah.
to pick it up until the morning, and I don't want to pick it up yet. Like I just want that extra moment. So that's what that song's about. And that's connecting with audiences when I do it live. Just I get the best feedback. So yeah, go watch. The acoustic videos are out there right now. And then the second song is called Waste Your Time. And it's not a love song. It, it's kind of a catty song about finding out that people who willingly leave your life then go sneaking in through Facebook or Instagram and watching what you're doing and having snarky things to say about you. And so go on and waste your time. Go ahead, you watch me. I'm not wasting any more of my time on you.
Voyeurs and trolls.
Yeah, and it's about people not seeing the worth and the value that you have, and
Yeah.
how you really care. When someone walks out of your life that you cared about, it hurts. And it took me a lot of time to heal from that. But at the end of that song, it says, I don't give a damn if you see the worth you never saw in me.
I think we all have people like that who have done that to us. I'll be checking both of those out. Whole and Waste Your Time.
Yeah. And
Got it.
I think I'm going to record and release Whole first. And then I'll Waste Your Time will come thereafter. I was thinking about holding the songs to release an EP, which is kind of like a 5 to 6 set, like short album. But based on everything that I've heard from, my friends that are in the music scene, they said just release singles at a time and get them rolling.
Yep.
And I think that's what I'll do. And I think Whole is going to be my first single. And oh, thank you, William. Miranda's the best on and off stage. You're so sweet.
You got some great people checking in here.
Big hugs to William. He's one of my favorite fans in the whole world and friends. And I've known him since he's probably known me since I was a teenager, I think.
Oh boy, like 10 years ago?
Yeah, yeah, like one of his cousins is my best friend. So that's how we're connected. But he's followed my music journey the whole time.
Well, that's great. I think we've covered quite a bit here. I'm really happy to have you on, and it won't be the last time. I know I'll get you on here again soon. You did really good. But excited for the future, definitely. And I'll be following you.
Me too. And I can't wait to hang out with you next week on Thursday.
Yeah. Yes. The Veterans Golf Tournament at Carlton Oaks. You're going to be singing the national anthem. While Amy and I will be slinging Bloody Marys for Dino's Pub.
And I will drinks with Dino's Pub thereafter. I'm volunteering the whole day. So get your tickets now if you want to come out for the Veterans Day Golf Tournament, Carlton Oaks Golf Course. Next week, you'll see me, you'll see Joe, you'll see tons of what I would call our local celebrities. We all get out there and volunteer for the veterans, and it's always my favorite day of the year. We have such a good time.
Yeah, and then we go cruising around in the golf cart and look crazy.
Yep. I love serving while people are teeing up. They don't expect it, and we roll up on the golf cart.
No, it's a great time. All right, well, I guess that's about it, and I'll be following you, and thank you so much for being on the show, and I guess I'll wrap it up now.
Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you, Joe. I really appreciate everyone's time. I mean, giving me your time is the most valuable thing, is something that you can't get back. So if you've ever come to see me on stage or listen to my songs on social media or come to a show in the future, you don't know what it means to me, because time is the one thing we can never get back.
Yep, that's a great point right there.
So thank you for supporting me, everybody.
I'm going to shut it down now. Really great talking to you, and we'll see you real soon. All right, Miranda?
All right, bye, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.